Hey, Robert. Thank you for being the first one. How are you doing? How was your weekend? How is things going? Yep, I know I've been gone for a couple of days, but I'm back. Y'all know me. I take my little breaks here and there, and now I come back. It ain't nothing personal. Sometimes I just take a break. That's it. But how was your weekend, Robert? Yes, Robert. That's what it's about. Sometimes you have to refresh. You know what I'm saying? Because baby, we all need that. We all need to refresh sometimes. You know. So that's what I do from time to time. I refresh. Hold on, let me turn this TV down. Yep. Sometimes we gotta refresh, and I do it a lot. Hey, Brittany. That's good. I hope everyone had a great weekend. School is starting back for a lot of kids now, and everybody out doing their little thing for the kids. So yeah, a lot of kids started back. Some kids start back next month. So thank you, Brittany. Yes, I spoke to Joanne yesterday. I told her about you, Robert. She said thank you so much. I spoke to her yesterday. We talked for about 2 hours yesterday. So yeah, I do speak to her. Yes, and I did tell her that you asked about her, and she said thank you so much. Yeah, she still, my kids went back to school on the first, so they already a weekend. Oh, okay, okay. My grandkids go back the 25th of this month. Yes, four of them. Four of them goes back on the 24th, 25th, and then I think three of them go back on the 2nd of September. Yeah. Hey, Pammy Pooh. So yes. I know it'll probably be a lot of parents glad them kids going back to school, honey. They probably was eating up everything, and so now it'll be a little better for them. Kids like to eat when they home, honey. They like to eat, baby. Yes, they want to eat. They want to go out here. They want to go out there. It's just that. So I know a lot of parents is probably glad the kids back in school. So the video I'm gonna play today, y'all, we're gonna see the goddess on my thumbnail. Is he the father of the baby or the brother? Okay. Pammy Poo said hi everyone in the chat because she's driving right now. And another thing, y'all, every day I have a goal for 5 coffees. But if I can't get five, at least three. Sometimes I have like 13, 14 people in the chat. If everybody can donate a coffee, I will really appreciate it because it does help out me with my channel. So I did just want to say that. So we're gonna do And y'all can let me know if y'all can hear, get this commercial.
My brother was my son father 5 years later. You already know what we got doing these FaceTime calls. We gonna run a background check. So boom, me and my girl,
Thank you,
we knew
Brittany.
each other for a long time. I'm talking about like 15, 20 years between that mark. We all went to high school together. Me and my brother, we around the same age. He 2 years older than me. So we all, grew up and hung around each other. I didn't actually get with my girlfriend until about 6 years back, which is 10 years later. So what I'm saying is 10 years after we went to school, I've been with my girl. I met her, then I've been with her for 6 years. But we all kept close contact on social media. You get what I'm saying? So let's fast forward. The first year in with my girlfriend, everything going great. Like this lady, she matured so much from high school. She's so beautiful, but she been beautiful. You know what I'm saying? But she's so beautiful. She matured so much. She became a very successful woman. She actually was a great businesswoman. You know what I'm saying, y'all? So our first year into the relationship, it was good dates, it was good vibes, it was good bonds. Everything was going good. Yes, everything was going good. Yes, we was very intimate. Yes, we was very explicit. So one day we went out to a date, right? We laughing, we joking. The waitress bring the appetizers. They ask us, do we need anything else? We like, no. We having a great conversation about forward in our life. So she asked me a couple of personal questions like, how do you do you look at me as like forever? Do you want to be with me forever? So you know how those go. Once you deep in love, I'm like, yeah, of course. Like if we could do this, we two good, successful people. We've been knowing each other since high school. Our background is good with each other, and our future looking great. So we kept eating. Now the waitress come back. She's like, here go your plates. But my plate had a cover over it. The little silver pin tops I be over the plate. So she gives my girlfriend her plate, and then she gives me my plate. So my girlfriend was like, let's say our grace before, we have our nice little meal. So I'm like, okay, I'm with it. So she says her grace, everything goes good. The waitress lifts up the silver plate, the silver pin from off of my plate, and I see a pregnancy test. So I look down, I look up, I look down again, I look back up. That was the moment my girl was telling me that she was pregnant. So the pregnancy went well. I told my brother about it when it first happened. Me and my brother like this, we close as fuck. She know of my brother. We all went on multiple events with each other. We all went out to eat with each other. My brother got his own girl. We did a lot of stuff with each other. We've been doing this since high school. You get what I'm saying? And then when we came back and all regrouped, it's been the same vibes, all nothing but positive energy.
Same old phone? Nah.
Hold on. Let me
Upgrade to the
take this
new Galaxy
commercial.
Z Fold 7.
2 years free from hair? Discover Bronze Smart IPL. The
So during this pregnancy, my brother used to come over a lot. Even before the pregnancy, he used to come hang out at my house a lot, or we would go to his. But during the pregnancy, he used to come over the house a lot. He used to help out a lot around the house. Bro was bro. Bro was my bro, and bro was her bro. You get what I'm saying? He helped us out for the gender reveal. He helped us out for the baby shower, and he just put in more effort. Just by being a big bro that he is to both of us. He was a big bro so much, our bond was so tight. I even made him my son's godfather. Yeah, I made him my son's godfather. Well, I ain't really even have nobody else to pick, but I'm like, even though you Theo, you're gonna be the goddaddy too. It's so crazy because when my girl water broke, my brother was there and he drove us in his car to the hospital because I knew I wasn't gonna need my car because I knew I was gonna be in the hospital with my girl for a couple days. Of course, she didn't need her car because she couldn't drive. She can't drive. You know what I'm saying? So I had him drop us off to the hospital. It was a beautiful moment for us. It was a beautiful moment for the family. My girlfriend, she gave a very successful birth to my son, who was beautiful himself, handsome young man, looks just like me, you know. Everything was going good. Everything was great. My brother was actually there for the delivery room. Like after she had the baby, my brother actually came upstairs to the delivery room and he actually got to hold the baby and all that. Like everything was beautiful. We gonna fast forward, but I'm gonna stop it right here.
The brother foul.
Yeah,
He foul.
He was definitely more involved than you think.
Yeah, I think the brother, from what I'm hearing, the brother was too involved into the brother's life and the girlfriend life, and he was doing a lot more as a father, in my opinion, than an uncle. That's just my opinion. Okay, but y'all can keep listening to it and see what y'all get out of it.
A friend or an uncle would be.
A friend? That's his real brother, right?
Yeah, this is his brother.
Because he said he made him into his godfather. What?
But he's like, well,
you only get one time.
He was like, well, you're my uncle anyway. You're the kid's uncle anyway. So it was like.
But you're trying to make him feel extra special because he's doing extra. Being the oldest brother, that is scab. It's rules we have, man. It's rules we have as siblings. You cannot try your brother's girl, bro. No matter how easy that girl is.
Some things are just too good to be true. His brother was really involved, more than people usually would be.
I know his trust issues gonna be crazy.
He's still the kid's uncle, no matter what. So
not more.
I'm
not
saying,
anymore.
The kid that he thought was his dad now he's like, I'm your uncle. It just reversed.
Right. He's switching roles. But let's see.
He's a godfather too literal.
Bro, whole time he's the father. Let's get into this, man. Part 2.
Obviously, I had to fix the caption and all that for y'all. So here y'all go with part 2. Welcome to the FaceTime call. You feel me? So it's story time. How I found out my brother is actually my son's real father. Let's get into it. Again, I'm going to repeat it to y'all. So story time, how I found out my brother is actually my son's real father. So the baby get born. I cut the umbilical cord. I signed a birth certificate. I spent a couple days with my girl in the hospital. Let me pause for a second because I seen the comments too. Y'all asking me, oh, you still saying your girl, your brother, your son? Because I'm telling y'all like as it's real time. You get what I'm saying? Oh, yeah, that's another thing. I got something to tell y'all at the end of this video. So let's get into it. I spent a couple days in the hospital with my son and my girlfriend. Everything's going well. Her family coming to see the baby. My family coming to see the baby. It's time to pack up and go home. Let me fast forward. The first 2-3 years of my son being born, he had an excellent 2-3 years. He was very, very active. He was very outgoing as a kid. You get what I'm saying? He was very playful, very loving. You know, I done watched him have his first steps. I was there when he said his first word. His first words was bye-bye, and he used to say his mom's name so funny. He used to be like, ma, ma, ma. So boom. Everything going lovely. The family going great. Now, my son started getting sick a bit. You get what I'm saying? He started getting sick. We would have to go to the hospital a few times out the year. This is when he turned like 3.
Hey, Mr. Angie.
It started when he was 2, but it was mostly when he was 3 that we really started seeing him get sick. So boom. And let me give you a little pause right quick. My son didn't really have like no crazy disease or like no bad severe health issues. It just was his immune system. You feel what I'm saying? Like his immune system was growing a little slower because he's only 3. So it was producing a little slower than the average kid, which is normal, but not normal. Some kids do go through it. So what he really needed was like vitamins. You know, he just had to be at like a good eating schedule with vitamins. Everything was good though. You know, he was a healthy baby overall, but you know, everybody ain't perfect. So that was like the slight issue. The doctor said by the time he's 5 or 6, his body should be up to date. It's kind of like, you know, being so short and then you just catch a growth spurt. You get what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Or it's like the baby's hair don't grow for like a first year or two. The next thing you know, when they 3, 4, and 5, their hair down their back. You know, just small developments in the human body. That was delaying. And in his case, it was like his immune system and just the way that his body was functioning was just delaying it slightly a little bit. So fast forward, you know, my brother was a goddaddy and he's the uncle. At least that's what we thought right then and there. So he always came through. He always looked out. He always was there for a birthday. He always planned every birthday. My son loved him to death just as much as he loved me. So as I started to take my son outside more, you know, people would see him, you know, like the local neighborhood that knew us, they used to just be like, wow, your son look just like you and your brother. But mind you, me and my brother look just alike. So basically they just be like, wow, y'all genes are strong. Y'all genes are strong. You know, your son look like your dad and your brother. Y'all genes are strong. I should just brush it off. I mean, I should be like, all right, cool. Yeah, you know, whatever. Thank you. Appreciate you. Because they was right. My son looked just like me. So going forward, I took a little vacation, right, y'all? I ended up leaving my girl and my son at home. It was a vacation, me and the homie. So it was me, my brother, my 2 cousins. We all went out to the Virgin Islands. This like the following year or so. So my son like 4, 4.5. You get what I'm saying? So I'm enjoying my time in the Virgin Islands with the family. We turned up, we lit. So I get a phone call. My girl called me. She like, yo, you know, Junior getting sick. Oh yeah, I ain't tell y'all that. He was a junior. He had my name and all that. So she like, Junior getting sick or whatever. I think he's starting to get back in that phase where he's starting to be sick frequently. Cause usually the little nigga gets sick, then he be all right. But when we know him, like when we got to bring him back to the doctors because of his deficiency in his health, you get what I'm saying? He will be staying sick for like X amount of hours, like, you know what I'm saying? Like 2, 3, 4 days at a time. It won't be just like no overnight sick or no quick little cough or no quick little strep throat. And you know what I'm saying? Or whatever the case, like, you know how kids get sick, they be good in a day or two. Junior, when we know it's time to really get him back in the hospital, really get him pumped up with vitamins, really get it, you know what I'm saying? Really get him to have the doctors do what they got to do to get him back right, is when he's sick for like 4, 5, 6 days. So I'm like, all right, cool. You know, today's our last day. We'll be back at least like tomorrow morning or tomorrow night. She like, all right, cool. You know, everything going well. Our relationship is good. You know, we got good bonds. This shit look perfect. Our little family, us 3, this shit look perfect. So, you know, I tell my brother and them, I tell my cousins, they like, man, sorry to hear that he's still going through that. But, you know, when the doctor said he's going to be all right, so I broke it down to him, like, you know, at least after he 5, 6, just when his bones and everything get stronger, when he grow, you know what I'm saying, as an individual, when he grow and he, like, you know what I'm saying, all his organs and all that could grow with him, you know what I'm saying, he'll get healthier. It's definitely a promise that he'll get healthier. He don't got, like, no disease and nothing. So they understood me, you know. So, boom, it was time to leave. Let me fast forward. I get back to the crib with my girlfriend. I see my son, you know, he coming up to me. He ain't seen me in like 4 or 5 days. He missed me, but I could tell that he's still sick. So I'm like, yeah, we definitely gotta get him to the hospital. She had brought him to the hospital a day before. And actually she called me while she was in the hospital, letting me know that he was getting sick. So she actually didn't bring him to the hospital. She brought him to the emergency room, and then she scheduled a personal doctor visit, which was the following day, which I showed up, and we all went there together to his real primary doctor. We get to the doctor's office. My son's name is Dr. J. What a quick little insider. If y'all know who Dr. J is, y'all gonna get what I'm talking about. So yeah, Dr. J come up to us, you know, he talking to us. He like, yo, I already know what's going on with your son. I've been with your son since he was born. I'm his primary doctor, whatever the case may be. He like, but I want to run some blood tests because I want to see if there's anything else, but I want to be sure. He like, I believe your son is healthy. I believe he's about to turn around after this year. You know what I'm saying? He's going to be great. He's going to grow up to be great, whether he want to be an athlete or whatever. Like, nothing's going to slow him down. He just had a little slow development.
Do you know what eating cabbage can do to your heart?
Oh my God.
Cabbage is a cruciferous vegetable that resembles lettuce and can...
Plus, my son was a COVID baby. So, you know, it was a little bit rough. So I'm thinking it's just regular routine. You get what I'm saying? I'm like, all right, cool. Run the blood tests. Y'all been running the blood tests all his life. Everything been coming back clear. You know what I'm saying? So Dr. J like, nah, I'm gonna need to run your blood test. So I'm like, my blood test. He like, yeah, I need both of the parents' blood tests. He like, but especially yours, because usually the chromosomes and all that come from you, or whatever the case may be. So he like, I just want to see if you got anything in your blood that might be affecting him, or was you? He was like, do you ever remember being a kid, like having a little slow development, you know, some of your vitals and all that? So I'm like, nah, doc, I don't even remember. You know, like I remember having asthma. That's about it. So the doctor like, all right, cool, come with me. We gonna set you up to run your blood test.
I will, Robert.
Hey man, y'all gotta stay tuned for Part Motherfucker 3.
My goodness.
Everybody was giving him signs saying he looked just like you and your brother.
No, what stood out to me is when he said how attentive his brother was. Now, when I first heard this story, like when I heard him say it, I thought he was about to say, oh, we just found out. But I'm starting to feel like the brother Ben knew that was his child. He had to know. He's doing all.
Yeah, I feel like the brother Ben knew too, and I feel like that's why the brother was staying around. You know, took her to the hospital and doing these other accessory things, helping the brother with the baby shower, because I think the brother knew that he had slept with his girlfriend, and it could be a possibility that that was his baby. So I think that's why the brother was staying around doing the things that he was doing. Now, if it come out that it's the brother baby, the brother is just as nasty and foul as he want to be. Okay, and she was also.
All this extra stuff. He's planning a birthday. What type of uncle plans the birthday party for his brother's son?
He was damn near there for the delivery.
Here, I'm saying, and that's what makes it even more messed up in a sense, because you had a one night stand, whatever the case may be. That's probably forgivable. You're gonna have to just watch your future women moving forward with me. If it was me, I feel like he knew that that was his child, and that he just was keeping it under the rug.
Yeah.
So
he was like, they're gonna look like us anyway. No way he's gonna find out.
And that's what's so cold about it, though, because they both knew that that wasn't his child. They both knew. Oh my goodness. And then named him Junior. And it's crazy because I feel like the brother was in on that. He probably was like, just name him Junior, make him feel like it's his son. So this is how it comes out. Right. But this is how it comes out. I got some more to say, but I'm gonna leave right there.
I found out my brother is actually my son's real father. And let me get us a quick pause. Like, I be seeing y'all in the comment section like, oh, you mean your nephew? So y'all want me to post a caption and say, story time, how my brother is my nephew's father. Or will it make sense to say how my son, right? Story time, how my brother is actually my son's real father. Get it right, 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 get it right. Please. Y'all was doing too much in the comments. Okay, part 3, let's get it. So, doctor set me up. He put me in my little doctor outfit, my little patient outfit with the back out. You know what I'm saying? They get ready to run my blood test. They draw the blood. So it's a big facility. You get what I'm saying? So they got my son in the other room, you know, just waiting on a few things that got him staying there. Hopefully, they saying that hopefully he'll be out in a couple of days, because usually when we admit him to the doctor's office, you know, it's in the hospital, but the primary doctor's there. But usually when we admit him into the hospital, he stay there for a couple of days. So they got me in another room, drawing my blood. They draw my blood, everything goes straight. The nurses and the helpers go take my blood out to go run tests. So off the bat, that automatically take like a couple hours. They pretty fast with the testing and all that, but that automatically take a couple hours just for the normal stuff that they want to see. Now, if they want like some deep dive searches in my blood, they got to send my blood off to another lab. But they want to check for a few things that they can read locally at this hospital. So while I get back dressed, I head back into the waiting area. I go and talk to my girlfriend. You know, she's a big concern like any mother should be. But me being there, me being a man, me being a dad, I'm just trying to keep her, you know, keep her calm. You know how that go when you got to keep your woman calm. You know, let her know everything's going to be all right. Everything's going to be okay. You get what I'm saying? So she started getting some sense of that. So, boom. I get a little phone call. My brother called me. My big bro called me. You know, he checking up on me. He want to know his nephew and all that doing. So, I'm just breaking it down to him, like, what's going on? I'm like, the doctors, they wanted to run a blood test on me. So he like, all right, cool, that's good. We ain't got nothing in our bloods, really. That's going to determine whether,
the brother was saying that because he probably knew it was a possibility of that little baby's father.
Straight. So I'm just explaining to him, like, yeah, I'm just a bit nervous because he is like 4.5, about to be 5. You get what I'm saying? The doctors did tell me when he was like 1 or 2 that he would progress and actually get better around this age. So I'm just sitting here, patiently waiting for these next 2 years to see if he really get okay, like if he really get better. So I hangs out with my brother. I talk to the rest of my family. I talk to some people in her family. Let's fast forward. Doctor comes back with the results. He like, Mr. Active, come and talk to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, he like, come over here and talk to me. So I'm like, all right, doc. So we step into like the little consultation area with the patients and stuff, talk to the medical staff. It's like a little private room. So boom, we step over there. He opened the files up. He like, everything looks good with your blood. I really don't see, like nothing that could affect your son.
Hold on, yeah.
Audio as an input modality.
But then he like, I'm having a small problem though. He like, I can't read. He like, what you got in your blood type, it's not matching with your son's. So he's like, I can't really tell if y'all.
He was trying to basically tell him that was not his son, but I think he didn't catch it in the beginning. So I think he didn't want to hurt his feelings by not just coming straight out and tell him, your blood is not matching. Okay? But he didn't want to hurt his feelings. So let's continue.
Y'all are the same match. So I'm like, yo, Dr. J, what you mean? What's going on? So he like, oh, don't take this personal, but it might just be some mess up in our end. He like, it might just be some mess up in our end. He like, what I want to do is, in a couple hours, I want to draw your blood again, and then we go for it from there. So I'm like, what else could be the issue though, doc? Like you saying, you know what I'm saying? Like, you telling me something, but I can see you want to tell me more. So he like, nah, just sit patient. We're gonna rerun the blood. I'm pretty sure our lab results, messed up. I'm trying to determine a match. He like, but it does show results in your blood. It does show everything that you have. It does show, your health, what's going on with you. He like, I see everything's going on great with you. You get what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right, cool, doc. Just let me know. I get back to the waiting room, like the little waiting area. I get to talk to my girlfriend. She like, yeah, what's going on? I'm like, nah, they just saying, just a small error in the report. But he like, so far everything going great. She like, yeah, you sure? So I'm like, yeah. So I'm like, I'm looking at her. I'm asking her, I'm like, yo, you sure you all right? Because you look, a little bit more nervous than what you usually.
Yeah, she was nervous, y'all, because she knew that was not his baby. She probably didn't know who the father was, but she know that in her heart she slept with the brother. So she probably didn't. She don't know if it was not if it's his baby, the brother baby, or someone else's baby. But she knew that for sure. She don't know who baby it was. For sure, she knew that. So that's why she was sitting here and asking this man all of these questions. But that's a shame that she hurted him like that, because he really was in this baby life from her pregnancy until this baby got 5 years old, y'all.
Usually do. She like, no, I'm okay. So the nurse walk in.
Hey, Terry.
The nurse like, hey, your son's up or whatever. Would y'all like to come in the room? Usually we chill in the room while he sleep, but we was chilling in the waiting room because they had a TV.
Yo, my goal today is 5 coffees.
We didn't want to wake him up.
Not 5, 3.
So we get back to my son's room. He's wide awake. He's active.
He doesn't mind.
So, mind you, my son's smart as hell. He's very intelligent at his age to be like 4.5. You know what I'm saying? So he like, man, Dad, I just can't wait to get out of here. The doctor told me that everything is gonna be good. My life gonna turn around and I'm gonna be great. I'm gonna be able to go back to school. I'm gonna get out of here in a couple of days and I'm gonna live a normal life. He like, I just want to go back home and play with my toys, and be back home going to school and seeing my friends again. So I'm like, son, this is the same process as it always been. You get what I'm saying? You're gonna stay in here for a couple of days and then you're gonna be good. And then you're going to return back to home like everything's normal. I said, but this time we might not even be coming back here for a long time. So let me fast forward to when I got to get my blood drawn again. So later on that night, I get my blood drawn again. Everything went well. Let's fast forward. My results come back error again. So the doctor confused. He like, listen, I can't really get the right results from you. I don't know what's really going on. I think it's something going on with us. Same story he told me earlier. But he like,
the doctor knew it was nothing going on their end. The doctor knew that baby was not this man's baby. And I think out of respect, the doctor didn't want to hurt him. That's what it was. The doctor already knew what was going on. That doctor was not stupid.
Like, you know, your son readings is going well. We're going to keep him overnight. And then y'all could just leave tomorrow. We think he's going to be, you know, same routine, you know, have him up in the vitamins. We gave him a vitamin boost, an IV boost. We got a supplement plan for y'all. He like, you know how this goes. I'm like, yeah, doc. He like, but it's looking good. It's looking good. He's like, what I want you to do is, though, he like, I want you to go take your blood at a different lab, to a better lab that can give us better readings, just so we can be clear. You know what I'm saying? Because he like, I still want those testings to see what's really going on. So next day come, we check my son out. Everything went well with him. We got our little health plan going on for him, going forth for the following couple weeks. But the doctor gave me my own documentation for me to go to another lab and get my blood drawn so they could rerun a test so they could get better results. But yeah, tune in for part 4.
His girlfriend definitely knew that this wasn't the father. That's why she was so nervous when he went back in the room.
Hell, the doctor knew in that moment. He just didn't want to be the one to tell him. Hey, that ain't your child. You can tell the doctor. The doctor knows. Now, it's crazy that he had to get 3 blood draws, though, just to find out. That would have made me mad right then and there. Because her nervousness, that tells me right there that she already knew. Because what you nervous about? Other than the fact you slept with my brother and y'all had a kid together. And then now you start to think about my brother. You could tell he putting that all together at this point of the story.
Yeah,
every time something's going on with the son, the brother right there.
I'll tell you this. Every time I hear a man telling a story time, it's always crazy. Men don't get online and start talking unless it's something crazy. And this is definitely one of those situations. Do y'all feel like the doctor? I feel like the doctor did.
Yes, I feel like the doctor
trying
knew.
Not to be
Yes,
messy.
I definitely do.
And the sad part is I feel like this guy actually has a really good relationship with that little boy too.
Yeah.
And the little boy got a really good relationship with him. And he about to find out that everything was just pretty much a lie. Like you could tell he's speaking highly of the mother. He's speaking highly of the son, of his son. He's not even bashing her. I done seen people get on this app and literally just completely
never bashed
the
his
person
lady
for
not
less.
one time.
And he's still keeping his composure throughout telling his story. Like you could tell he ain't even made it to being mad in the story yet. He's still getting there.
He said she was the perfect woman, and my brother that was a couple years older than him saw that same potential.
As a big brother, that's pathetic. I would cut my big brother off.
He was probably like, I met her
first. I would cut him off.
But it's messed up though. It's like, okay, if that's your girl, then say that's your girl. The guys get it. If that's your girl, say that's your girl then. Don't let me get with her. Don't let her and me have a relationship, and then I'm trusting you around her, and then you messing around with her. And then you get her pregnant, and then you so sick in the head that you let me stay in this relationship instead of being a big bro and say, listen, bro, me and her had a one-night stand. You might want to go check that out. Because when it gets to this point, ain't no forgiving. That's disrespectful as hell.
He thought he had a perfect relationship. He said everything was seeming perfect.
Yeah, I get what he's saying. I'm talking about from the brother perspective. That's just fucked up, period. I feel bad for him. I'm not going to lie. That little boy definitely about to have his life turned upside down.
Story time. How I found out my brother is actually my son's real father. Part 4. Well, I keep putting up the 3. Y'all see me? Part 4 though. Part 4. So we back home, right? I'm fast forwarding it. We back home. I took my lab results. It's a couple days later. I ended up taking my lab results. My son is doing fine. He still got a little troubles, a little cough and everything, but he bouncing back. He getting a little bit better. You get what I'm saying?
In a world where you've constantly been told what you can't do.
Hey, Lolo.
Who will you choose to be when presented with something different?
And remind y'all now, this little boy has been sick his whole, his whole 4 years since he's been born. He's been in and out of the hospital, and he's been sick.
So fast forward. The following, I'll say, week or so, my results get back. Dr. J calls me. He like, listen, I don't know what to tell you. It's still an error. So I'm like, Dr. J, this is your 3rd time telling me that it's an error. I done went to a different lab and all that. Why is it an error? So he's like, I'm sorry, Mr. Active, but the only thing I could possibly think of is you and your son don't share the same blood type. So I'm like, what do you mean by that? He's like, only way it could be paternity issues. So I'm like, Doc, what? So while he's saying that, and I got him on the phone, I actually got him on speaker, and my girl's right there. So I look at her, she look at me, she looking confused. I'm looking like, what the fuck?
I told y'all, like, Dr. Ben knew y'all.
He mean by this. So she's like, what is he really trying to say though? So I'm like, basically he's saying like it's paternity issues that I could possibly not be Junior's dad. She's like, oh no, that's impossible. You know how we are. You know, I never do you like that. You know, she just giving me the rundown how everything is just going good, and you know, she's 100% sure that I'm the dad. So I'm like, all right. I'm like, maybe Dr. J bugging. I don't really know. But what I do know is my son is getting better. So fuck them blood tests. Fuck the lab results, right? Fuck them. He getting better. Fuck him. So I called my mama, my G mama. I talked to her about it. Now, mind you, me and my brother close, but how we are to my G mama, we like best friends, all three of us. So I tell her about it. I'm like, man, you know, G mama, you know, the doctor said it's possibly some paternity issues. So she like, man. So I'm like, what, G ma? So G mama like, do what your mind tells you, not your heart. Follow your mind this time. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I take it upon myself to go and get that paternity test. So I'm in the house one day, right? I got the paternity test. My girl gone. My son at school, right, y'all? I'm just sitting on the couch. I'm looking at the paternity test. I'm like, damn. I feel like I'm betraying my family by not trusting myself as being my son's father. Like, I feel like I'm not taking my girl word. So I felt like some sort of betrayal to her. And then I'm like,
yeah,
how could I tell my son I don't think I'm his dad? You get what I'm saying? Like, that shit had me all fucked up in the inside. So I called my brother, my big brother. I'm like, yo, I got this paternity test in my hand. You know, when Junior come home tonight, I'm a sneak a swab in and all that. And you know, I'm gonna do what I gotta do. My big bro like, nah, don't do that. Don't do that. He telling me when I already sitting on the couch thinking, he like, yo, you know, you gotta have guilt from that. You know that's your son. You know your son look just like us.
No,
you get what I'm saying? Like, you know that's 100% your son. So I'm like, yeah, man, you and my girl keep saying this, you know, Junior 100% mine. So I'm like, I believe y'all, but I gotta follow my mind this time because I'm fucking curious why the doctor can't match our blood types up, and I'm curious why he's saying that I might not be the dad. I'm like, you know, she probably could have stepped out on me, bro. You might never know. You can't be blind to this. He like, nah, you right. He like, but bro, come on now. Junior look just like you. I know for a fact that's yours. So I'm like, yeah, I'll holler at you later. I appreciate you though for that. So nighttime get here, you know, we had a lovely day. My girl put up in her room, Junior sleeping in his room. Guess what I go do? I go sneak that motherfucking swab out of Junior's mouth. I go do the whole test. You know, I do the test kit up. I wrap it up safe, you know, and I package it up, and then I go hide it somewhere in the house. As I'm hiding it somewhere in the living room, my girl comes down the steps. She's like, what you doing? I said, oh, nothing. I'm looking for the remote. She points at the coffee table. She's like, that's weird. The remote's right there where we left it at before we was about to go upstairs. I said, oh, you know, you right. I'm all fucked up in the head. My bad. So I grabbed the remote, and then I turned on the TV. She like, I thought you was about to come and sleep. I said, damn, you right again. I said, man, listen, I just been so just out of it lately, so exhausted, but come on, let's go to sleep. So the next day come, they leave, I ship the paternity test off. Now, fast forward, a couple days come, right? Little Junior, he got a parent versus kid day at his educational center. You get what I'm saying? So I go participate with him. You know, like I said, man, Junior's a great kid. You know, we had a bar there. But I did notice one thing. Junior was getting like a little fatigued. If y'all don't know what fatigue is, it's like, you know, like out of breath and stuff. Like he was feeling like, you know, just out of it. So I'm like, you know, it's time to take a break. Say bye to your friends. We had a great day today. Let's head home. So as I was getting ready to do all that with him, I get a call. It's G-Ma. So I'm like, yo, what's up, G-Ma? She like, hey, your test came back. She like, what's this? Because I already told her like I was having to sit to her house instead of having to sit to my house. My girlfriend won't be nosy. So I'm like, G-Ma, it's a paternity test for me and Junior. You know, you told me to follow my mind, follow my heart, so that's what I did. So I'm like, G-Ma, open it up. So she like, boy, I ain't opening up this test. You're going to have to come here and open the test up for yourself. All right, cool. You know, I go drop Junior off to my girl, and I tell my girl I got some extra stuff to do. I'm going to head back out. I got a few errands to run. I leave the house. I go head to G-Ma's house. I get there. I go open the test up. G-Ma waiting right there. She surrounding herself around me. I pop the package open. I read the test. Nah, I ain't leaving y'all no cliffhanger. I'm going to tell y'all what's up. After that motherfucking test, my heart shattered. That shit said Junior wasn't my son. Yeah, that shit said Junior wasn't my son. So I'm over there like, G-Ma, you see what this shit say? She grabbed the paper. She like, what, boy? She read it. She like, Lord, oh my goodness. She said, it only say you 22%. That mean you not this baby's father. I bust out and yell in tears. Oh, G-Ma, what I'ma do? My heart broken. That boy ain't my son, G-Ma. What I'ma do? You know, G-Ma, she hold it down. She don't really show no weakness or no tears or nothing. You know how them G-Mas is. So she grabbed me. She like, you got to get yourself together and you got to pray. I'm like, G-Ma, pray. I'm like, man, this girl been lying to me for about 5 years. Pray. I'm like, she gonna need a prayer. I get on the phone. I call her instantly. I'm yelling, screaming, and crying. I'm like, oh, Junior ain't mine. How you could do me like that? She like, Junior ain't yours. That's impossible. She like, let me see the test. Where you at? Let me see the test. I'm like, I'm at G-Ma house. She like, well, bring the test here. Let me see. I said, no, you lying to me. Junior ain't mine. Feel me? She click on me. I call my brother. My brother, he listening to me. You know, I'm venting to him. He listening to me. He like, man, yo, little bro, I got something to tell you. So I'm like, you got something to tell me? What's up? Now that's when y'all gotta wait for part 5. That's
no, bro, no.
Wow.
See, G-Ma definitely kept it 100. My granny and my daddy side be talking just like that. He was dead on because some men get so attached that they don't even want to know.
It don't even matter.
You should have known it was a red flag. She sweating, your brother trying to push you off to not do it. I think his brother warned her about him trying to sneak that swab test to her.
That's why she was like, what are you doing?
Right. She's super tense. She's trying to figure out, hey, I thought you was going to bed because you got that call from his brother. That's what it's starting to look like.
Introducing the second generation Blink Video Doorbell, designed to give you complete peace of mind no matter where you are. With a battery life up
you take care of a child all that long and then you find out it's not yours.
So yeah, story time. How I found out my brother is actually my son's real father. Let's get it. Friend, put your phone on the charger. Don't answer the phone for nobody else. Because when I call y'all on this FaceTime call, I don't want no interruptions. You see, last time I told you the story. Last time you told us, hold on. Let me call you back. No. Don't answer the phone for nobody. So my brother, right? He like, yo, little bro, I'm going to just come over there and talk to you. So I'm like, I bang on him. I'm like, what the fuck he talking about? I'm confused. Fast forward, my brother get there. He get to my G-Ma house. Feel me? She let him in. So we all in the living room. So he give me a big ass hug and shit. He acting like he real concerned. So, you know, I give him a hug back, but I'm like, yo, bro, what's up? What you have to tell me? So he like, man, I ain't never want to hurt you like this. I ain't even want you to go through no situation like this. So I'm like, nah, man, not again. I know y'all about to be like, not again. So pause. Let me give y'all a little background check. My brother did this to me in elementary school.
Wow.
He ended up talking to the same girl I was talking to. And I ain't
not like your brother's jealous of the women.
All right, fast forward. So I'm like, yo, not again. He like, yo, me and your girl, you know, man, bro. So I'm like, nigga, you and my girl, what? He like, I was sleeping with her, bro. Why? Man, what? I wasn't going for it. And this right here, his whole face, yeah, bust him up. Caught him twice and did him right. So you know me, I'm like, man, I got my tears in my eye. I'm raging. G-Ma jumped in front of it. I'm posted up. I'm like, man, come on. You mean to tell me you did what? Big bro over there got the Red River coming from his nose. He like, man, little bro, they ain't even like that. What? It ain't like that. Called him again. I'm trying to win. G-Ma grab me. You know, I'm going to let G-Ma grab me even though I'm like 100 times stronger than her. But I let her get in the way. I let her tussle me up. You know what I'm saying? I let her bear hug me up. So she like, cut that out. Y'all brothers. So I'm still raising crying. Oh, no, G-Ma, this man ain't shit. This man did me dirty. Next thing you know, my girlfriend walk in the house with my nephew. I get the charge, not her. I'm throwing pillows from G-Ma couch. I'm trying to get to her, but I ain't really trying to get to her because, you know, G-Ma, she moving fast right along with me, and I ain't trying to knock G-Ma over, but I'm cursing her out too. I'm like, how could y'all do me like this? I'm calling her all types of names. Anything you could call something that be standing on the corner waiting for somebody else to buy. Yeah, that's what I called her, one of those. I'm like, man, I called her everything. I called her one of them things that be at the truck stops waiting for the truck drivers to pick them up. I called her everything filed in a book while my nephew was there. So my nephew like, Daddy, what's going on? I'm like, little nigga, I ain't your motherfucking father. He get to crying. He just a kid. He don't really know what's going on. I just broke it down to him. I'm like, that's your father right there. He like, but no, that's Theo. No. That's your father right there. I'm not your father. I was fed up. When I tell you I was fed up and I was ready to fight, I was fed up. So after that, you know, I ended up moving by myself, leaving that whole situation alone. At that point, it was fuck my brother, fuck my ex-girl, fuck G-Ma, because she ain't let me do what I wanted to do, really, because I was finna do them all in. And fuck the kids. I can say that. Fuck the kids. Fuck them kids. So as time came by, you know, throughout the year, my grandmother tried to make peace with us. I wasn't going for it. My ex-girlfriend, she tried to make peace with me. I wasn't going for it. I still had some feelings towards the child. So I stayed in contact for a little bit, but I did give him the truth of really what it really was, that he wasn't my son. And yeah, when the blood test came back, it wasn't mine, it was 22%. My brother took the blood test. He wasn't the father neither.
Damn.
Hey, that was part 5. That was a wrap up.
What?
People got to catch hands and feet at this point. He's 5 years in. They couldn't have told him this.
Who was the father?
What?
But he
At
said
the
the brother
childbirth
still
when they were both in the room
for sleeping.
And then of course, grandma's gonna try to keep the family together like they usually do. But this is one of those things you can't really look past.
No.
It's not at all.
That's crazy. The fact that neither brother is the father is, first of all, that was the biggest plot twist of the century. I thought he was about to for sure say, and I'm going to keep it. I'm going to be thinking it until I get to this part. Y'all going to discover it the same time I discovered it. I fell for the plot. But that's crazy, though. But overall, though, what do you say? Like, I don't even blame him from separating himself from the child, since
if another father tries to step in, you can't really.
It's not even just that. It's just the type of woman she is. You don't want nobody to ever be able to take your child from you. And if it ain't your real child, that's the first thing a person's going to do. You're not their real daddy and X, Y, and Z, and they're going to take that child. You know, she really cared about him, and then she wouldn't have been stepping out on him in general anyways, which is crazy. I understand. Some people, they're going to hold on to that child. They're not going to let that go because it's their child. And it's unfortunate you had to figure out at the age of 4, damn near 5, that this ain't your kid.
Yeah.
But what do you guys think? That pretty much wraps up this story time for the day. Let us know in the comments section. What are your thoughts? What are your concerns? And don't forget, if you want to follow that creator, I will have his name tagged in the description box below. So make sure you guys follow and show him some support and love. All right. Until the next video, Messy Family. Peace.
As a researcher.
Okay, let me get the next story right quick. Now, I think it was messed up because now neither one of them was the father. Now, who is the father? Who is the father? You know, messed up your baby life. The baby don't even know who the father is. You know, he really loved that baby. You know, I think that was just nasty, grimy. Like, so who is the father? Wow. Got to be more careful. Okay, y'all, this is another story that I want to share with y'all.
Because over 10 million of you guys watched me get married last year across Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and a lot other wedding content that I put out.
Exactly, Lolo.
And so, you know, you're
Lolo, so ain't no telling. Exactly, sis. Ain't no telling.
Part of the process. But the reason why I do want to share why I'm getting divorced is because I got married to a narcissist unknowingly, and it was all built upon a lie. And I started talking about this on Threads and on my Twitter account, and I shared some of that to my Instagram stories. And since sharing that, I've gotten hundreds of DMs from women who are in the same situation or who have been in that situation. And so many of them have told me, I'm so grateful that you've been talking about this and that you've been transparent about this, because I didn't have the strength to leave. Now that I'm seeing that you are leaving so soon as well, I'm now inspired to leave. I do want to talk about this specifically when it comes to the narcissistic abuse part, because you don't even realize it's happening to you while it's happening to you. For so many of us, we just didn't even know what was happening while it was happening. I'm going to share as much as I can. And I think it's also important for us to remember that there's a difference between narcissistic personality disorder and having narcissistic traits. Okay, those are two different things. So let's start from the beginning. So in 2020, I met my husband on Hinge, and I was living in New York City at the time, and I was working from home. I was working on Wall Street, and I was pretty isolated. Here comes my husband on Hinge, and he looks great, and he seems like a pretty decent guy, and he really sold himself as like this faith-based guy and like really serious with like really good intentions. And you know, I bought it. Now, he was going to be starting a job on Wall Street as well at a different firm. And I like the fact that he was already in the industry, so he understood my work schedule, because I really did have a demanding schedule. Again, very normal guy, seemingly decent guy. The relationship is good to start. Towards the end of 2020, I started to pick up on the fact that our values weren't really aligned. And especially when it came to faith, there were some things that weren't adding up, right? So I did let him know that, hey, I think we should break up. I think we should part ways, because, you know, we're just not aligned. Now, he accepted it at first, but then he kept trying to message me and get back with me and saying, you know, I really don't understand. I really miss us and all of that. And then he starts to mention the fact that there's a ring fund, because, you know, he sees me as his future wife, that he's already gained 14% on. And I remember saying to him, like, I'm sorry, what does that have to do with anything? And so that is an example of, I think it's called love bombing. I am somebody who had a narcissistic parent. So I grew up on gaslighting. I grew up on manipulation. I grew up on love bombing. So that feels familiar to me. I didn't really have the language for what exactly my soon-to-be ex-husband was doing at the time, but now that I do have the language for it, I see it for what it was, right? If you have broken up with somebody, they seemingly accept it, but then they're coming back and they're like, okay, but I have 14% on a ring fund, right? They're trying to like lure you back in.
I completely understand where she's coming from when she's talking about narcissistic parents and having those type of love bombing and stuff like that. I completely understand where she's coming from. And it's easy, definitely, yes, to see it in other people, especially if it's something you was raised on. One thing I'm confused about is the ring fund thing. Is she talking about a ring fund, Messy Family? A fund for a ring? He's saying you can't leave me because I'm already in the process of purchasing a ring? Is that what he said? That's what he said. I don't know. Is that a red flag? Let me know in the comment section, Messy Family.
Yes, it is a red flag.
They're trying to talk about all these things that they do for you or what they're doing for you to try to lure you back in. Now, I was resistant to his efforts. At the beginning of 2021, I do start a new job, and that job is actually at the firm that he's working at in a different capacity, but we've been broken up. We're still cordial. Now, he's still trying to get back with me. He's inserting himself in a way that's friendly, but like also clearly like he regrets that, you know, we parted ways. Again, I'm focusing on my new job. I'm just focusing on like getting my life together. He does become a source of support for me as I'm in this new job because he's already familiar with this firm. He knows how to support people, and like he really is just a great friend to have. My birthday's in July, and yes, we're friends, we're not together, but he totally inserted himself into my birthday in a way that was like, you know, I'm her man, got me a cake and everything. And like, I appreciated all of those efforts because at the end of the day, like, it's great to have somebody who is looking out for you and all those things. But again, I wasn't cognizant of the fact that like boundaries were not in place, right? And this is something that you have to be very aware of as a young woman when you're dealing with these men. Like, if you have broken up with somebody, right, there is no reason why they should still be coming around in that capacity. And if they keep coming around under the guise of friendship, right, because they love and care about you deeply as a friend, you need to be very careful. Because I was very convinced that, okay, he keeps showing up and he's just around because, like, you know, he just cares deeply about me and he just wants to be the person that's there for me. Now, despite the fact that we're broken up, anybody who has shown any kind of interest in me, anyone who he knows is interested in me, he's creating obstacles for these people. He would want to spend like every waking moment of the weekend with me, and I just had zero space. This is another sign that you are dealing with a narcissist. They do not give you any space. In mind, the job that I had at this time on Wall Street, I was working at the desk from 6:30 a.m. until roughly about like 6:30 p.m., right? So I'm 12 hours on the desk, Monday to Friday, and every waking minute of the weekend, he would want to spend time with me. I don't really like people like that. I like my space. I do believe that I am an introvert, and I really do need to recharge, especially when I'm in an office setting and when I'm around people for so long. Like, I need like to decompress, right? I'm blessed now that I work from home and I don't need to like recharge as much, but I really needed my space. Now it is fall of 2021, and he is really lobbying, really pushing that we get back together. And he's even convinced another one of my friends that he really loves me. He really sees a future with me, and, you know, for me to give him a chance. He's very, very, very convincing. Like, this man, he could sell you anything. He is really good. He puts on a great show. And even my friend is like, wow, like, I don't know any guy who's ever loved you this much. Like, this man is so committed. And I'm like,
and see, God, friends is going to say that, whether it's a guy friend or a girlfriend, they're going to say that if they don't know about narcissist behavior. You know what I'm saying? That he's a good guy. He loves you. He do this for you. He do that for you. You know, he just cares for you. No, that's not true all the time. So what she explaining, she is absolutely right.
I'm like, yep, that is true. And I'm like, you know what? I'll give him a chance. We did get back together. At this point in my life, I wasn't really going out. I was just focused on myself. So if you weren't already in my immediate circle, if I didn't already know you, chances are we were not going to meet, because I went to work, I went home, I went to the gym, and I was just like focused on myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just where my head was at. Now, by December of 2021, he starts applying to some jobs in Florida because he says he wants to move back to Florida potentially. By January of 2022, he gets a job offer in Florida, and he also does get another job offer in New York, which in my opinion was more aligned with what he wanted to do career-wise, but he decides that he's going to take the job in Florida. Now he's trying to say to me, you know, am I coming with him to Florida? I'm like, absolutely not. I have my career here. At the time, I knew no one in Florida.
Yep, he wants her to lose everything she had and get her by herself.
I had broken up with him because I was like, I'm not doing a long distance relationship. I just don't want that for myself. Now, after we got married, I found out that he actually told his coworkers and others, his friends and stuff, that the breakup was mutual. when it wasn't, right? Because he was crying these crocodile tears, these fake tears. In retrospect, they were fake tears. They were narcissist tears. When I told him that, look, I'm not moving to Florida with you. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not doing long distance. I have my career here. It is what it is. I think it was early February that he moved to Florida. Valentine's Day comes around 2022. Now, I think I'd gone out and I posted up like, you know, just in a cute dress or whatever. Who's calling my phone to find out if somebody took me out for Valentine's Day?
The narcissist.
My soon-to-be ex-husband. Mind you, I'm single, right? What did you think was going to happen? Do you not think there is a line of men waiting to take me out? You're single. I'm single. It's none of your business. Why should I spend Valentine's Day alone? Right? Like, you decided to move to Florida. I am living in New York. I'm going to enjoy myself. You know what I'm saying? I tell him, look, you need to calm down and you need to focus on your life in Florida. There are a lot of baddies in Florida, right? Focus on the baddies in Florida. Let me live my life, right? Period. He's upset. He's not happy with it. It is what it is. Now, we didn't really talk for a while. I want to say like maybe about a month and a half, because I kind of cursed him out and I was like, look, you need to stop calling my phone. You need to leave me alone, like boundaries. He starts to weasel his way back in after a couple months of 2022 from the friendship angle. I started to post on TikTok in May. My first video that went viral on TikTok happened in the end of May. And in June of 2022,
with Hotels.com, members save up to 20%. With that kind of discount, you could stay at a place with a killer spa.
An anonymous account is created on Twitter. It has no posts. I'm still friendly with my soon-to-be ex-husband, right? He's still a friend to me, and that's that. I'm single in 2022. I'm focusing on myself. In August of 2022, I'm told by my boss that I'm being put up for early promotion. My soon-to-be ex-husband, at the time, I considered him to be one of my best friends because he always positioned himself to be like this source of support for me and just somebody who really loved me like unconditionally. Now, he was one of the two people that I let know that I was being put up for early promotion. Unbeknownst to me at the time, that same week, that anonymous Twitter account made some tweets using screenshots from my TikTok account, tweeting my firm and FINRA. Now, FINRA is the regulatory body that oversees broker-dealers, etc. Again, there are two people that I told that I was up for early promotion. He's the only one who would have known to tag FINRA in those tweets in an attempt to bring me down or to get me fired or to mess up my chances of getting promoted. I don't find out about these tweets because I wasn't even tagged and I wasn't really on Twitter like that. I was called into the office by compliance at my job and they were telling me that, hey, there's this FINRA investigation going on because this random Twitter account made these tweets referencing your content and they tagged the firm and they tagged FINRA. They just told me, hey, just keep an eye out, let us know if you have any idea who it could be. And they told me that they'd be doing their own kind of investigation as well. I remember my boss saying to me, go look into that, go figure out like what's going on there. And I just thought, okay, maybe it's just like some random hater. I just had no idea who could be behind this kind of account. Now, if I'm experiencing a certain type of harassment on the internet, I do loop in my lawyer just to get an assessment of like, what do you think this is? And I remember my lawyer saying to me upon reviewing the Twitter account and reviewing the tweet, he said, honestly, Christine, we've seen this before many times. This account was created specifically to try to bring you down. These tweets are laced with jealousy. This is a classic case of jealousy. And he actually asked me, did you get put up for promotion or something? Did you get a promotion? Because I've seen this a lot before and it's clearly laced with jealousy. And he said, is there anyone you can think of who would be jealous about you getting a promotion? And I said, well, I only told 2 people. And those people, in my mind, I was like, they would never be jealous of me. Plus, only one of those people would have known to tag my firm and to tag FINRA. And I remember asking my soon-to-be ex-husband, I was like, hey, did you tell anybody else? But he was so supportive. He was just like, oh my gosh, the fact that somebody would even do that to you.
Let's be for real. If you've ever known a narcissist, one thing they will do is put themselves in complete control. They give you a little rope to make you feel like you're free in the beginning. But the reality is they're getting you to turn against everybody around you. If she would have got that position, that would have took her to a point where it have made him harder for him to control her. Now, I'm not saying we don't know the whole story yet, but based off of what she's saying so far, you can see the narcissism playing out in the situation. That's why it makes it more believable. But what do you guys think, Messy Family, at this point in the video? Let me know in the comment section. Have you ever dealt with something like this before? Have you ever had a colleague or a partner like betray you in such a way? Are you dealing with narcissists? Let me know in the comment section.
You're such a hater. You guys,
they will have you thinking other people after you doing things to you and saying things about you, and the whole time
it's not funny. Nothing about this is funny, by the way, but it's like, at this point, all I can do is laugh, right? Because I was so convinced that this man was for me, right? He was praying with me, right? Now I know that he was behind that account. He didn't want me to get that early promotion because he knew that if I got promoted, there's no way I would be moving to Florida with him. And he had to figure out a way to get me to move to Florida because he just had to have me. Here this man is praying with me, being like, you know, I just don't know why.
He had to have you because he wanted you to do you in up there.
All these haters now and whatnot. And he created this account in June of 2022 when he saw that, like, okay, like her TikTok is growing. More people are going to find her. So I got to make sure by any means necessary that she doesn't find somebody better. He's telling me that, you know what, you're on the internet, you're on TikTok now, people can find your TikTok, so it's just probably somebody who hates on you. You've always had haters. It could be anybody. And I'm like, yeah, you know what, you're right. It really could be anybody at the end of the day. Now, nothing came from that investigation. I didn't get in trouble. I didn't get fired. But did those tweets mess up my chances for early promotion? Absolutely. So he was successful in his attempts. One thing that I did find out from my firm from this investigation process was that they had reason to believe that the person behind this account was a whistleblower. So they were a former employee and they were airing out their grievances while using me to do so. Now, January of 2023, I have a new challenge to focus on because the Black people at my firm have been getting underpaid now for 2 years. And we had clocked it the year before, but we were told that it was going to be corrected and we'd be made whole this current year, which was at the time 2023. That was not the case. In fact, it was even worse in 2023. Now, that kind of stuff doesn't sit well with me. And of course, I'm telling my soon-to-be ex-husband about what's going on because he is a friend of mine. And he's very supportive. He's like, you know, trying to make sure that he could be there for me and just like support me in this time that I'm taking on this challenge of like pushing back against my firm. So one of the things that I do is I write a letter to the head of HR. Because of that letter that I wrote to the head of HR, an investigation was launched and they were like, yep, we messed up. People's pay needed to be revamped. Now, even though they fixed the pay of all of the Black employees that were hired through this program, it's still...
Watch what magnesium does to your bowels.
If you have to wipe more than 4 times after you poop, here's why.
The Mayo Clinic confirms that stuck poop can cause these embarrassing skid marks in your undies. You see, when stuck poop causes a traffic jam in your colon, your bowels become too full. And as the pressure builds up, liquefied stool leaks around the stuck hard poop and stains your underwear. So how can you clear out all that stuck poop so that you don't have to worry about skid marks anymore? Well, do this to clear out stuck poop fast. Fiber helps you poop, right? Nope. What about drinking lots of water? Nope. Do this to clear out stuck poop fast. Kind of surprising, but diarrhea is actually a form of constipation. Weird, right? Most people think diarrhea and constipation are 2 different things. But the fact is, diarrhea is your body's desperate last-ditch attempt to get things moving again. So even though diarrhea is moving things along, not all of your poop cooperates and comes out. And the most stubborn poop.
Now, how do you mistakenly not pay the Black employees the same amount you paid the other employees? That's wild. That is wild, but that is not shocking. Like, if you know, you know. I mean, that is not shocking, but it's crazy. That's why a lot of these employers don't want y'all discussing pay. They don't want any like discrepancies in the workplace when it comes to these things, because you're going to realize that one day that, well, this person only got more money than me because of their lighter complexion or their different ethnicity. Like, isn't that crazy to you? Anyway, let's continue to watch.
It still wasn't the correct amount. We were still being significantly underpaid compared to our white peers for doing the same work. I was not happy with that solution because I knew that that was just them slapping a Band-Aid on a situation that literally needed surgery. So, I lawyered up. One thing you're never going to do is you're never going to play with my money, especially when I worked for it. I've now taken on this legal battle with a major Wall Street institution. I am literally drained and exhausted. I'm fighting for myself and others who are not even willing to fight for themselves, right? Because there are a lot of people on Wall Street and in corporate America who are just not willing to stand up for themselves. But here I am putting in the good fight. Now, at the time, I did go to spend some time in LA because I'm just actually mentally drained. And it was good because I think it was like a different type of isolation. But at the same time, my soon-to-be ex-husband used this opportunity to really weasel himself back in as a source of support for me. He would fly in from Florida, spend some weekends in LA with me. He was really just like this great source of support for me and convinced me to get back together with him. And I was like, honestly, like, he gets it. He understands what I'm going through, and at this point, this man knows me well. He knows my family dynamics. He knows my triggers. He knows a lot about me, right? So he knows exactly what to say to get back in my life. Now, he starts talking about getting a ring and getting engaged somewhere around, I want to say May or June of 2023. Truth be told, I should not have gotten engaged in the mental state that I was in 2023, because I was so drained by this battle. I was so exhausted for having to fight for what was clearly like standard. Like the fact that I'm fighting for equal pay for Black people in 2023, it was just mind-boggling. You know what I'm saying? And just the back and forth with the legal situation, I was exhausted. But of course, the whole talks of engagement and all of that, and like just like my soon-to-be ex-husband being there for me and just being this great source of support, it was just kind of like, oh my gosh, like, he's so sweet. Again, I'm kind of in a daze in 2023. I'm dealing with a whole legal battle, but I'm still excited because it feels like, oh my gosh, at the end of the day, this is the light at the end of the tunnel. We get engaged in August. Now, once you get engaged, everybody's asking you, when is the wedding? When is the wedding? When is the wedding? So you have all this external pressure, and my family, my friends, everything. I'm a type A person, right? I didn't end up getting a planner for my wedding. I ended up planning it myself. So I'm completely caught up with planning my wedding. I'm still dealing with this legal battle. I have now moved to Florida. I still have my place in New York, but now I'm in Florida. Thankfully, now I know like 2 couples in Florida. So I do have a couple people there, but I'm now in a different state. I'm still dealing with this legal battle. I'm here planning a wedding. I'm also...
Wayfair presents lighting. Get the latest looks with top fixtures at low prices and a huge lineup.
Transitioning careers, right? Because when you go up against a firm in Wall Street, like, best of luck if you think you're going to have a career in Wall Street after that. But also that experience left such a bitter taste in my mouth that I decided that I didn't want to work on Wall Street anymore. So I had made my mind up that I was done with the industry. Now, this legal battle, I'm not done with it until roughly February of 2024. And I also want to provide the context that I wanted to take this to litigation because the evidence was all there. The wrongdoing was there. And it would have been a case that would have really changed a lot of things for the industry and people underpaying Black people in the industry. But my soon-to-be ex-husband was a big advocate for me settling because he was like, you know what? I've seen how drained you've been. I've seen how exhausted you've been. And, just prioritize your peace and move forward. In retrospect, right? He just wanted me to, get paid quickly and just move along. That's what he wanted me to do. If it were up to me, I probably would have litigated. And my lawyers were ready and willing to litigate. Now, one thing to note is even before we got engaged, this is before premarital counseling, we had gone through this book where we were just kind of like figuring out like, what do we want out of life? Does this all make sense? Does it make sense to get married? For example, one of those questions in that book was like, okay, how many kids do you want? And I remember saying, okay, like I want 2 to 3 kids. And he was like, oh yeah, I want 2 to 3 kids. Essentially what he did the entire time, I did not know this, but again, he is a great actor. He deserves an Oscar. He was mirroring me the entire time. He knew my family dynamics. He knew what I liked. He knew what I didn't like. And he was presenting himself to be the type of person that I would want in a husband. Another thing to note is 2023, he suddenly gets very bulked up, very muscular. Now, he was always athletic, but he was always on the slimmer side, right? 2023, he has bulked up, right? I'm like, okay, you know, what happened to you? He just has this newfound passion for the gym, I guess. I mean, he always went to the gym, but like he was never doing all of that, like weight, and like he wasn't eating that amount of protein and all of that. Now, after we got married, that is when the mask started to slip. So he would say things like, I have to go to the gym and have all this protein and eat all this food to look good for you and to be bulked up for you. And I'm like, look good for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to look like that, like you're the one who decided to bulk up like this, right? Like you decided to do this to yourself. I never told you to do that. So you always want to pay attention when it comes to dating someone. If you find that they're like transforming themselves to be someone to match you a little bit too much, right? And it's not organic, it's not natural, it's not something that they ever were. That is something that you need to pay attention to. At the time, I just thought, you know what? He bulked up. He has this newfound passion for the gym. It is what it is. I didn't know that someone with narcissistic personality disorder, they are going to mirror their target like crazy. And he had to bulk up in such a way.
Wait, is this true? Is this true? Because this can work either way. Like this can work male or female. This is good information. Messy family, let me know in the comment section. Is this true? Like, do you believe that a person that's a narcissist, 'cause I've never heard this before. This is the first time I've ever heard somebody say that a narcissist mirrors the person they're about to target. What? I'm about to keep listening. I'm damn near ready to go get a notepad.
And transform himself because he had to be seen as worthy of being my partner. But once we got married, he's complaining about the way that he has to eat all this protein and eat all this food for me. And I'm like, well, if you don't want to do something, you shouldn't do it. Like, it's not a requirement to be with me. You know, like this is something that you put on yourself. He has really deep abandonment wounds, right? And this is something I always encouraged him to work on. And it really showed itself in one particular instance. This was in July of 2024. He was going to get some food at this particular place that I don't like eating at. He was asking me what I wanted to eat. I was like, look, you know, I don't even eat from there. I don't know why you're asking me what I want. And I told him, like, look, I'm going to go home and I'm going to order something. And at the time we were out at this particular plaza, and it was going to be easier for him to just drive there, get what he wanted, drive back home. And for me, it just would have been easier for me to just Uber home and order what I wanted. So I told him, look, I'm just going to go home and Uber what I want. So I got out of the car and I was about to call my Uber on my phone. I kid you not, this man drives in front of me, wrestles my phone out of my hand with such force, so angrily that like I'm pushed, and he drives off in the parking lot. He makes a loop in the parking lot, actually, like a lunatic in anger. And at the time, I only had my personal phone. I didn't have my work phone. So I'm in the parking lot, no phone. He drives back around and I'm like, yo, what is wrong with you, sir? Like, what is wrong with you? He's like telling me that I can't just be walking out of the car on him. It's disrespectful. Again, abandonment wound triggered. That was the first like I've never seen him like that before. Narcissists.
Hear me out. Because now that she said that he has abandonment issues, just hear me out. What if the working out isn't to mirror the target? What if the working out is just to keep the target or keep the woman? I ain't trying to say she's a target, but keep her. I'm not saying he's not a narcissist. We're only in this part of the video yet. We haven't heard the rest. But when it comes to that aspect, maybe he's just getting big because he don't want to lose his woman. Like, she's a beautiful woman. Like, you gotta understand that. And sometimes a man's insecurity or abandonment issues will make them get into a point where it's like, well, I don't want to lose my girl, so let me get into this nice little form that most women are attracted to. Now, I can see why she believes he's a narcissist, because she told him that he did not have to do that. But as a man, I think men probably be feeling like, nah, let me still do it because they say this, but then they might mess around and be with somebody just like that and have you looking like, you know. And men do this to women too. You know, they'll get a woman out of her normal shape, acting like they don't really care, but then go be with a woman that is like that, or have a woman getting real small and then go be with a big woman, go mess around with a big woman. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So I don't know, but let me know what y'all think in the comment section. I don't want to throw y'all off too much, but let's get back into the story time.
A lot of them have an abandonment wound. When I'm trying to address this with him and I'm trying to get him to take accountability, he's talking about the fact that he's doing all this stuff for my birthday. And I'm like, what does my birthday have to do with anything? My birthday has nothing to do with this, right? Like, you're trying to love bomb me. You're trying to gaslight me. You're trying to manipulate me when you need to take accountability for your actions. So he does some semblance of fake accountability, and he says, you know, he's going to be working on himself. It's not going to happen again. I want to add this in because I think this is very important for people who might be in a work environment similar to Wall Street. Because I had worked on Wall Street for years, right? I had interned on Wall Street my junior year of college. I returned full time. A total of 5 years is what I spent on Wall Street. But you have to understand that there are a lot of narcissistic personalities on Wall Street. And I had normalized narcissists. Like, the guy I worked with the last 2 years I was working on Wall Street, I worked with him the most, right? Straight up narcissist. But you have to understand that on Wall Street specifically, and I'm not talking about just corporate America, because there is a big difference between Wall Street and corporate America, right? It's a different personality type. And in order for you to be successful on Wall Street, you do have to have narcissistic traits. But again, there's a big difference between having narcissistic traits and having narcissistic personality disorder. In order for you to be successful in most spheres of life, you do have to have narcissistic traits. There is a healthy amount of narcissistic traits that one can possess. But when you...
I'm ready for the next narcissist conversation. Is that a narcissistic disorder or a narcissistic trait? Because we all have narcissistic personalities. I cannot wait to use this. What do you mean? In order to be successful in life, you got to have narcissistic personalities. I'm putting that in my...
have a full-blown personality disorder where you've had a psychotic break from reality. That's when things are now getting very dangerous. Now, he starts to say some random things, and this is after we got married. He would say things like, I get why the guys at the office pay for escorts and essentially pay for smecks and stuff like that. And I would be like, huh? I'm sorry, what kind of rhetoric is that? Like, our values are not aligned if you're saying stuff like that. And you never said anything like this prior to us being married. So like, where is this coming from? He would just be like, oh, you know, I was just like thinking about that. I'm like, okay. And, you know, as a woman,
I feel like the reason why he's saying that to her, though, in that way, why he's telling her, I see why people pay for this, is because he feels as though it's easier. I'd rather just pay for the smacks and pay for somebody to clean up my house at this point. That's what he's saying. I'm not agreeing with it. It is a narcissistic thing to say, because what are you doing in that moment? It's devaluing the woman you're with. You're devaluing her and making her feel like I can replace you. And for a woman like her, she's very strong and educated. So I just know saying that to her would have probably just, like, she just ate it and just made you look stupid. What do you mean? Her rhetoric is making me use big words. Because I'm like, bro, what? I couldn't even go back and forth with her. But you making me feel less like a little boy. Not me personally, but you would make a man feel like a little boy if you was this type of person. It's a good way to be. I'm not going to lie to you. I like women who can speak their mind. My girl's the same way. She speaks her mind. And I like that about her. But she also knows when to let me speak as well. So it's a balance. I like her personality, but I wonder if they're having a conversation, if it's more her talking or him talking, and why he feels the way he feels. I really want to know his side too.
And you know that that's loser mentality, right? Because you know that if a man has to pay for connection with a woman, it just means that he's a loser. He does not know how to build a connection with a woman. And so it's a loser mentality, right? And so I had to clock him about it. And I was like, yo, like, I don't know where you're getting this rhetoric from, and I don't know why you're saying this stuff, but you need to check yourself. Another thing that he starts to say is, you know, I get why guys choose simple women over career women, because now he has an issue with the fact that I'm a content creator. And he's throwing shade at me being a content creator and working as much as I do. And he would also say things like, people just don't know how hard it is to be an influencer husband. Okay. You knew what it was when you signed up, boo. Like, where's all of this coming from? Then he started to insert himself under the guise of helping me with my business, my influencer business. And he would always try to get me to accept like some low deals, some deals that didn't make any sense, when I knew my value and I knew my worth. And I was able to negotiate deals at like 4 times whatever rate he was trying to get on my behalf. And I was like, bro, what are you even doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you inserting yourself in my business? And why are you trying to get your wife paid less? And then he would throw shade about deals that I didn't take. A couple months ago, he was like, you know, you're the one who's turning down deals for $15K. And I'm like, huh?
Energizer's 3-in-1 Child Shield is the world's first coin lithium battery that has 3 different safety features.
Value of having a partner is huge. Finding someone you can trust is what really builds the business from the base.
What's that supposed to mean? I'm not like you. I don't just take money for money, right? I understand that there's value to the work that I put out there, and I provide value to brands. And at the end of the day, this is my business. Why are you inserting yourself in it? And I essentially had to be like, look, respectfully, I need you to step away from inserting yourself into my business and what I'm doing. And then he would try to gaslight me and be like, you just don't value my opinion. You don't value my opinion. No, boo, you're trying to control me. You're jealous of me because you can't stand the fact that I could make 1 video for a brand and it's more than what you've earned in the entire month from your job. And instead of being happy for your wife and supporting your wife, you're trying to sabotage her career. Another thing that I didn't pick up on as a narcissistic trait is, I remember one time, like, I was crying and he got extremely angry with me. Like, he was so angered by the fact that I was shedding a tear. He started to raise his voice and yell at me. And that was when I was like, oh no, we need to get in counseling because something is wrong with you, sir. Now, I didn't know what it was at the time, but the therapist clocked it immediately. She said to him in that first session, she was like, do you understand what it means to have empathy? Because it feels like you don't understand empathy. He doesn't have the ability to be empathetic. It's this fake empathy. I never really understood that that was what was happening. So if he sees me crying, it gets him so angry because he's incapable of putting himself in other people's shoes. Narcissists lack empathy. Also, after we got married, he would constantly make degrading comments about women. He was really frustrated with the fact that women had to do so little in comparison to men. So for example, I remember him making a remark about the fact that my bridesmaids came into town before my wedding, like a couple days before, and they were able to hang out. And he was like, you know, my boys, you know, they had to come in like the day before. And he was like, you know, what do your bridesmaids even do? And I'm like, well, I'm sorry, like, why are you so mad that women don't have to do what men have to do necessarily? Like, why are you so upset that women and men have a different experience of life? Do you want to be a woman, sir? Because that's what it's giving. And another thing that really upset him that I found very strange was he didn't like that there were plus size models featured in Sports Illustrated. And I was trying to explain to him that, you know, representation matters. Women of all sizes need to be featured and people need to see bodies that look like them. But his whole argument was like, men can't do the same thing. Women need to be held to the same standard as men.
Yes, we can. What are you talking about? What's plus size male models, right? Right? Come on. Males can't do the same thing. We talking about an aspect of that? That's crazy. Yes, we can. I mean, what do you think? What do y'all think?
Once we're married, just how misogynistic he is, which was something he hid very, very, very well before our marriage. And every single day, the mask is slipping more and more and more. And I had a trip, a solo trip with Virgin Voyages the night before. He has a mental breakdown. He's telling me how unhappy he is with life, how unhappy he is with his job, how upset he is that he can't go on this trip with me and everything. And his whole goal was to make sure that I had a very unpleasant trip and that I was thinking about how unhappy he was the entire trip. That is something that narcissists do. They don't want you to have any fun or have any enjoyment without them. They hate that. That. In addition to the degrading comments he would make about women, he was always trying to change me into a housewife. I know I'm the meal prep queen. You gotta understand that when I brought meal preps to the internet, this was for the corporate girlies. There are a lot of business girlies, corporate girlies who follow me. When I worked on Wall Street, yes, I did meal prep, but now I don't have to. I've meal prepped for brands and I've shown people how to meal prep. And he has been a natural beneficiary of my meal preps. And also, he really needed them because the dude wasn't eating healthy. He wasn't having vegetables. He wasn't having fruits. And so he really needed those. Apart from that, he would try to pressure me and shame me for not cooking every single day. Now, I'm the type of person I cook when I want. But if I don't feel like cooking, I'm not going to cook because I don't need to. And when it comes to cleaning, I have always outsourced my cleaning. When I lived in New York, I outsourced my cleaning. Unless I genuinely want to clean my space, that is just what I do. But you know what it was when you signed up, right? And we talked about this. It never gave housewife. It was never that. Now, if you're wondering, well, why are you staying with this man while he's saying all these things? It's because there's constantly this gaslighting and this love bombing that's going on. Just constantly reminding me of things that he's done for me. That is just a small portion of the narcissistic abuse that I've experienced during this marriage. This is not the only reason why I'm filing for divorce. I came to find out some dirt on this man and what he's been doing behind my back for a while now. Out of respect for him, like, even though he doesn't deserve my respect, Out of human decency, I'm not going to say it on here, but just know it is egregious. That's all I have to say on the topic. And I don't have to drag him. I don't have to shame him for what I found out, because one thing I know for sure is that everything done in the dark, it has to come to light at some point. Now, when I found out what I found out, I asked him, I said, hey, is there anything else you're lying to me about? I gave him the opportunity to be honest with me, because at the end of the day, I've been loyal, I've been faithful, I've honored our marriage. I meant my vows when I said them. So I gave him the opportunity to be honest with me, and he still couldn't do that. In fact, his response was, I'm so focused on trying to get you a Range Rover, because he knows that Range Rover is like one of my favorite cars ever. I'm like, what does that have to do with anything? What does the Range Rover have to do with the lies that you've been telling me? That is classic narcissistic response. So I informed him that I would be filing for divorce and that it would be amicable and that we just do a clean split, sell the house, split the proceeds. What's yours is yours. What's mine is mine. Narcissists hate when they're no longer in control. And if you try to leave, they're going to punish you for it. So once I let him know that I would be filing for divorce, he went into our joint account and he transferred money into his personal account. He wiped it clean. That included a New York tax return tied to my income, because he didn't earn any New York income in 2024. He transfers that to his personal account. And that is considered financial misconduct. If somebody lets you know that they're filing for divorce and you go into the joint account and you transfer money out and you wipe it clean, you have committed financial misconduct. Apart from that, he refused to release my phone lines because we were on a family plan. T-Mobile had called him. It's super easy for him to release my phone lines. He refused to release it because he wanted to surveil who I was texting, who was calling. The only way I got him to release my phone lines was when I sent his mother a text updating her to let her know that I was aware of what was happening. Within an hour of me texting his mom, he released my phone lines. And then back to the financial misconduct with him taking out my New York tax return and other money from this joint account.
I believe everything she said, because narcissist does do that. And that's what he wanted her for. He didn't want her because he wanted her because he loved her. Narcissists don't love anybody. They don't even love their self. They don't even love their children. He wanted her because she knew that she was a successful woman. Okay? And she had what it takes. She was very smart. She was intelligent. She had this, she had that. That's what narcissists want you for, a man or a woman. They don't want you because they really do want to be with you and they really love you. Okay? Yes, I do believe that's why he got the joint accounts. He talked her into getting the phone line under his. Everything was under him. That's what narcissists do. They want to gain control. They want to gain power over you. So when you do decide to leave them, they got something on you, which is money. You know, you heard what she said. She just want to leave us a clean slate. Sell the house. What's yours is yours. What's mine is mine. You know, but some narcissist men and women, they don't want that. And especially if it's kids involved, it can get really ugly and nasty if it's kids involved.
His lawyer reprimanded him. His own lawyer reprimanded him for doing that. Like, you just don't do that. When he withdrew that money, he was hoping that that would put me in a tough situation. But dude, you married the finance baddie. Do you think I don't have money in other accounts? Do you think I was relying on this joint account?
She was smart.
Do you think I tell you about all of my...
See, I'm with her with the story, y'all. I really am. I've been married. I was married at 21, divorced at 25, so I know what she's talking about. I just don't agree. Like, she was kind of living a double life. You know what I mean? Like, he probably had one. He had a personal account. She had a personal account, clearly. But she pretty much saying that she had money and she was getting income that he didn't even know about. Okay, I'm going to ask y'all this. As married people, or maybe...
Well, you can't even get mad at her because she did that. Because she clearly stated in the beginning she knew he was a narcissist before she married him. She knew that. So she knew what she was against. She gave this man another chance. So she wasn't living a double life. She knew exactly what she was doing. She knew about narcissistic behavior. So she was preparing herself. If it comes down to this and we get a divorce and things don't go right, I got money on the side of my own money. So I'm not going to say she's wrong because I dealt with a narcissist for 10 years and I know how dirty they get down. Okay? So like I said, it would have been even worse than this if she did not know that she was marrying a narcissist. She probably wouldn't even have separate accounts. You know, he probably would have had access to all the money. So she did the right thing. I salute her for that. Because if you never dealt with a narcissist, you're not educated to them, you're going to do everything they want you to do and say everything they want you to say. Because everything is going to be about them and them only. Now, will I say, should she still marry him when she knew he was a narcissist? No, but she did anyway. But on top of it, she was smart with her shit. And I salute her for it.
People who want to get married, how would you feel about that? How would you feel knowing, like, I think right now it's kind of, see, that's what I want to ask the married people. How would you feel if your husband or wife, like, was making, like, moves like that on the side and not telling you about their financial situation? Because I know it's like, it's theirs, whatever the case may be, but you're like, okay, me personally, I'm a giver, right? So if I feel like you don't have anything, I'm going to always do over and beyond to make sure everything is good over there. If you make me feel like you need me.
But I think he's missing the point because I don't think he really understands about narcissistic behavior and what they're capable of, what they can do. So I don't think this guy really knows. That's probably why he feels the way he feels. I salute her. And I will salute a man that does this too if he know that he's dealing with a narcissist woman. She knew and she admitted that this man was a narcissist. She admitted it. She knew, but she still let him. She still took him back. She still married him, but she was not stupid. She was on point. She know what they was about. She know they was about money. She know this man didn't love her. She loved him, but he didn't love her. Narcissist does not love you the same way you love them. He went to the gym to get her afraid of him, to get his weight up. He knew everything what he was doing to her. He knew that. But see, one thing about a narcissist, when you do something to them, they're going to rage. And they'll start telling lies on you. Because they love to, their first thing they do, they'll start a smear campaign in your name. You know, telling everybody you did this, you said this, and you know what I'm saying? To get everybody on their side, which, you know, we call them flying monkeys. That's the shit that they do.
You know what I mean? I'm the type of person, if you need me, I'm there to help you, you know. But if you don't need me, then it gives me like a sense of like, you know, I can feel like I can make a decision, you know, whether or not I want to help or not. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like lying about the finances isn't like a flex. It's really like just shows like kind of why the relationship was kind of rocky, you know. I'm wondering if he was cheating or if he was gay at this point. I don't know what it was, Messy Family. What do y'all think? She's not going to tell us, but we're getting to the end.
One of those too. I was thinking it was one of those too.
Jealous
but I was really thinking of the gay side.
That is standard classic behavior of a narcissist. When you try to leave them, they're going to try to financially abuse you, smear your name as well, because what he's been doing is talking to my friends and family, trying to create a narrative about me. They're going to try to keep anything hostage. They're going to try to surveil you. I caught him trying to log into the security cameras last week after I changed the passwords.
I believe that.
So that is just standard, just narcissistic behavior. Now, in an effort to, I guess, get back at me after I told him I was filing for divorce and after he conducted financial misconduct and I called him out.
Today, we're in St. Louis, Missouri, talking about how sustainable design and a whole lot of community helped restore one of the nation's.
He goes ahead and he files for divorce. What this does is it complicates things for him because given that he has now filed the petition, we have to respond to that petition. And when we respond to that petition, unfortunately, all of his dirt gets put out there. And so what little dignity he could have walked away from this marriage with has now gone out of the window. Again, I wanted an amicable and a peaceful divorce. I really didn't want all of this nonsense. But with narcissists, chaos is how they thrive. They have to create drama. If I were him, knowing what I do know, I would have chosen to walk away from this marriage with dignity, whatever fragment of dignity he has left. But he chose narcissistic collapse, right? He chose ego, and he chose to be childish. Now, could I have gotten on the internet and pretended everything was okay and put on a show for you guys? Absolutely. I can't do that and sleep well at night, and that is just not a part of my brand. If I'm telling you ladies to want better for yourselves, if I'm telling you to do better for yourself, if I'm telling you to stay healthy and wealthy, that is all a mentality, right? That is a mantra. So you have to want better for yourself. You have to walk away from the things that no longer serve you. And especially if you were literally a victim of a real life Joe Goldberg, like I was. Now, there are a couple people on IG who said, oh, you got married for content. And I wish I got married for content, honestly, because it cost me so much. I would love to get my 75K back from the wedding. Honestly, that would have been invested. I would have had more money now. I would love to get back all the money that I've invested into this house, all the closets that I paid for, all the furniture that I've purchased, literally everything. I would love to get my money back. This has been such a loss for me. For you to get on the internet and try to think that people get married for content. I know I met my vows. My soon-to-be ex-husband, on the other hand, he didn't mean a word that he said. He was literally a real life Joe Goldberg. But let this be a reminder that you will rise again. I'm currently in the process of getting out of this marriage. We will see how my rise again goes. I hope this is helpful, and whenever I'm able to share more information, I will. I know the psychiatrists and the psychologists and the therapists will meet me in the comments and explain a lot of what I put down. And listen, it is never too late to walk away. Just like in finance, if you make a bad investment, cut your losses. It's not your fault. You looked at the financials, right? You looked at what was under the hood. You thought everything was good, but they put on a good show, right? They doctored the books.
Yep.
That happens sometimes. But you cut your losses when you recognize that what you're dealing with is garbage. If you take nothing else away from these videos, I hope that you learn to put yourself first and honor yourself and honor your boundaries, no matter the cost. Stay healthy and wealthy.
All right, Messy family. Now listen, if you made it to the end of the video, I appreciate you.
She is definitely right about everything she said. See, I don't think he know too much about narcissists, so that's why, you know, maybe he was saying the things that he was saying. But y'all, that's all I have for today. I'm going to get up off here. Thank y'all. Thank you so much, Brittany. I appreciate you. Lolo and whoever else came in here. I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a rest of the good evening. Always remember to keep God first and stay prayed up. And I love you guys, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace and love.